like I'm not tall enough as it is.
And it just adds like a whopping foot to you for sure.
If not taller. So I can't walk through the store with this on because I'll knock everything over. But Steve and I were going through the store the other day because I put up my Christmas tree at home. And I saw this and I immediately thought, oh, this is perfect. So I put it on my head and started walking around Menards with it on my head.
Oh, you got it from Menards? That makes it even better.
So I started walking around Menards with it on my head. And I thought it was a perfect dunce cap.
It is. It's perfect. I love it.
Do you know what it is?
I don't. Is it a...
It's a tree topper.
It is a tree topper.
It's a tree topper.
But the fact that it fits them and it looks
It
beautiful.
fits me, and it's from Menards. It's the gnome tree topper.
LOL.
Isn't that hilarious? So I had to wear it because it slightly fits my head.
Yes.
And I'm always in the dunce corner. So people will be jumping on soon. It's just now 6:30.
Oh, we got one person.
Cool. And so we were just talking about my dunce hat.
Yes.
My tree topper I'm wearing as a hat because I was bad today and I had to be put in the dunce corner.
And again, he just has to start every Tuesday live off with an iconic hat. I told him he has to.
Hi, Sharon. So it adds another foot. Now, if I had my 80s creepers on, I would be RuPaul.
You'd be ready. You'd be ready for the show.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, you're so silly.
Fun. It's a tree topper that I'm wearing as a hat. I wish I could wear it the whole time, but I'm gonna.
We gotta get like a little like a strap for it so it never falls off.
I know, right? Hilarious. I love it.
So great.
Anyway, so tonight we're going to be talking about ornaments and Christmas trees and candy canes.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff I bet you didn't know.
And everything you can think of. Hi, Mom. So I was wearing this. Check this out. So my dunce hat. It's a tree topper that fit my head.
I just can't get over it. It's so funny. Even just.
And it adds so much height to me because
really
I'm such
does.
a short person.
Oh, hey, Mom.
So, we're going to be talking, and we did a lot of research.
Yes, lots.
It's going to be fun. And I put us in front of the silver Christmas tree with the bulbs on it.
Favorite tree that we have in the store, to be honest.
I have a little gold thing full of ornaments we're going to talk about, as well as some icicles and stuff. But, first of all, why don't you start with the tidbit?
Okay. Sure, I actually have some good ones.
Yes,
so
tell us.
This one's pretty basic, but I have a feeling a lot of people didn't know that even all throughout the years and decades of ornaments being a thing, that they've been made out of blown glass, metal, we have wood ones, blown plastic, I was going to look this up. How do you...
The polystyrene.
Okay, so polystyrene and ceramics.
So blown glass.
Yes, and then there's blown plastic right there.
Right here.
Yep, right
this
there.
One. And then we have blown plastic. So these are just like you would do with, glass blowing.
Sure.
You do plastic the same way.
Yep.
So this is plastic, and it's a newer one, but it's blown plastic. This is the blown glass she was talking about. Stuff like this.
Love
This
that
is
one.
all blown glass. Old. And just wanted to show you. Go on.
Okay, sure. So my next one that I really, really enjoyed this one because personally I didn't know anything about it. Modern trees, not the very first tree, but specifically modern trees when they actually started to hang other things on it other than fruits and things like that, which we'll touch base on in a second. Modern trees originated during the Renaissance time in early modern Germany, and its 16th century origins are sometimes associated with Protestant Christian reformer Martin Luther, who is said to have added the very first lighted candle to an evergreen tree, like a legitimate tall lit candle to the tree, because obviously at the time they didn't have light bulbs or any source of light for the tree.
So what time period is that?
Here it says 16th century, so
okay,
I mean...
so when you're referring to modern trees, you're referring to once it moved into the house.
Correct, yes.
Okay, so once it moved into the house, because Druidism...
Yep.
Which was the original Christmas tree.
Yep.
Well, not Christmas tree. The original tree that they would fill full. It was an oak tree that they would fill full of nuts and stuff
and fruits
to help bring the bounty of the.
Speaking of that, where'd the cart go?
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah, so you have a tree with fruits and nuts all
Oh
over
yeah,
it.
go grab it. It's over there. So, that way they would have a good bounty. The days were getting longer and the food was growing. So, that's what she's referring to as pre. And it would have been an oak tree. So this is what she's referring to, where they would put the fruits and nuts on it because it would signify great bounty as we went into the... I've arrived, Steve. I've arrived. So that way it's almost like a symbolic gesture to help grow their food basket.
It's like manifestation before they even knew it was a thing.
So, picking up on that, which is cool, is Christmas trees in the 16th century got moved indoors.
Yep.
And all from Saint Boniface, because Saint Boniface decided that he wanted to convert the Druids to Christianity.
Sure.
So he thought by using the tree, the decorated tree, would help in the conversion process. It did not.
Right.
But that's when they started putting the candles on them.
Yep.
Another tidbit that's cool is because they like the look of a lit up tree with the candles, and not everybody could put candles on trees and stuff, they would use pieces of silver that they would put on the inside of the tree that would help reflect the light back.
But like we need to go a little bit in depth because I like when you explained it to me earlier today that like usually when we see tinsel we just wrap it around our tree and call it a day. No, you got to take the tinsel and push it closer to the base of the tree.
Back then they would use silver, real silver for that matter, and then it moved into lead and then mylar and so forth. And what they would do is they would put it inside the tree to help reflect light off.
Yep.
So tinsel, then that morphed into tinsel.
Right.
And so tinsel technically should be inside the tree on the back part of the light to reflect the light of the lights outward instead of inward, which is something I learned today, which was weird.
I learned a lot today about all bulbs and just Christmas in general.
So that's why you see a lot of the trees with fruits and nuts, because they were the first ornaments that you dealt with.
And pastries. I forgot to add pastries.
Yeah.
They loved pastries for some reason. They were in the shapes of hearts, stars, and flowers that they
and
used as
gingerbread.
ornaments. Yep, and gingerbread,
Yep. So that's the reason the fruit's on the tree. So if you're doing an old school, like an actual, like old school trees and stuff, putting fruit and vegetables on trees.
That's it. That's where you're going to want to go.
Yep. And then back then, the ornaments didn't really come into till glass blowing started, or till somebody discovered it. So what they would use is whatever was around the house.
Which would have been candles if you even
candles,
had any at the time.
Paper roses,
How did they get
stuff
them to
like
stick?
that. Well, they probably, I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like one shimmy
I guess I
of
should
the
have did
floor.
research on that.
Yeah, well, they honestly didn't really have that much, to be honest, when I was looking, because I asked Google some very in-depth questions, and I don't think anybody really thought that far about it.
We all graduated Google.
Right.
Which was cool. So they make homemade stuff. So in Victorian time, a lot of the ornaments that they would come across were stuff that they had made at home.
Yep.
So some of your most expensive ornaments that you can come across would be from the Victorian era, and they would be homemade stuff, not stuff you buy in stores.
Right. Not mass produced.
Right. And a lot of skulls they did a lot of skulls. They did a lot of like macabre things on their trees, as well as beautiful laces and stuff like that. That's why you see doily ornaments sometimes and stuff, which we have a whole bunch of. But the most expensive would be like a skull that was made during that time, which is pretty cool. I have not got one of those. I wish I did.
I know that would honestly be iconic with an animal too.
Right? Now, before we jump too far ahead, candy canes. I gotta talk about candy canes.
This is so
So
cool.
candy canes, shockingly, started in let me tell you, in 1670. I wrote it real big because I was shocked. But they started in a different format than what we know today. What are you grabbing? Oh, the candy cane? Yeah.
Thank you so much for catching up.
Okay, so candy canes like we know today, right? This is a candy cane
usually
because
how you hold one?
you hold the cane this way, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is not how it starts, because it's like one of those jokes that you tell or those stories that you tell. And I tell you the story, you tell somebody else the story,
and it changes over
and
time.
as you go, things are added and removed. Right?
It's like ad-libbed.
There was a game called that. So this is of course a fake candy cane, but candy cane started in 1670, and they were called sugar sticks back then. They didn't have peppermint in them. They were made in the cane formation, but back then, this is the way the candy cane was looked, because it was a J, because they would make sugar candy or sugar sticks to give to the kids to keep them busy while they were doing stuff.
Yep, like we're hanging up the tree
and
cooking.
they were done in a J fashion. So what do you think the J stands for?
I believe we talked about it was for Jesus,
It is.
correct?
It's the children of Jesus. So actually the candy cane was made in the J formation. It was later in life, like in the late 1800s, 1900s, or middle 1800s, that it was flipped and called the candy cane, and peppermint was added.
Added.
Yep. So Interesting. I never knew that. That's the most shocking thing. The fact that it was upside down. My name, both our names start with a J. So it was made for me.
Literally.
Jason. Not you, me. No,
Yeah, that's
kidding.
cool.
So I thought that was interesting. They were sugar sticks.
Yeah, I loved that one. That
to
was
keep
really
the kids
cool.
busy.
Yeah, literally. I'm gonna go hang up the tree. Here, take
Who
this.
puts candy canes on their tree? I do.
So do I.
We put them on all the time. And of course, some of my candy canes are probably 12 years old, 20 years old, because I just keep putting them on every year.
Yeah, literally. My
until
mom
they
keeps
fall
taking
apart.
them, and my mom always says, "Why don't you just take a candy cane when you leave?" And I'm like, "Mom, is this 10 years old or is this from last week? I can't tell."
So I'm going to talk about glass blowing started in Germany. You can pretty much take all of our Christmas
And relate it back to Germany.
Relate it back to Germany because Germany with the glass blowing
Yep.
with what's his name? Isn't that awful?
No, we wrote down so
Hans
many of
Garner
those.
created the first bulb.
The first one, which there's so many other things you told me about that today, which
Yeah.
is so crazy. Speaking of Germany, they were the first exclusive producer of glass ornaments until 1925, and then Japan kind of took that spot. I mean, Germany was still making
These are
glass
Germany.
ornaments,
Aren't they beautiful?
but they kind of like took a step back because there were so many other things that related into blown glass that they wanted to make and mass produce. But Czechoslovakia and Poland were also really big, strong glass making companies or countries, I should say. And then they kind of moved into ornaments. They weren't really focusing on that at first, but then they seen everybody else was doing such a cool, good job that they wanted to take some of that over.
Isn't that cool? So glass ornaments moved over to America in the 1800s.
And we were with Germany at that time.
Yes, moved over to America in the 1800s, and and I'm going to move ahead a little bit because Shiny Brights.
Oh, yes,
Can I see some love for Shiny Brights, please? Who loves Shiny Brights? Come on, people.
I mean, the name is just what's in for me too.
So-
Shiny Bright.
Shiny Bright ornaments. And I'm going to show you the boxes here in a minute. We're going to talk about Shiny Brights. I know, show me some love. And I know that's only you, David. So everybody else, show me some love. So this is an original Shiny Bright.
And notice how it's very, very, even though it's silver, that color is very, like you can see it. It didn't
Yeah.
fade no matter how old it is.
Okay.
Or what you used to clean it.
Exactly. So Shiny Brights first originally appeared in 1937 by a German immigrant who came and defected to America and then went to World War I, right? Went to World War I. And when he got back in 1937, he started the Shiny Bright Company.
Yep.
But the Shiny, and now this is where the tidbits come in that just are shocking to me.
I love it.
The first Shiny Bright ornaments were just solid.
Yep.
And they were mostly silver.
Were they mostly that size or did they come in various
No, they're
sizes?
bigger. They're bigger. But they were all silver. So Shiny Brights got their name because they put silver nitrate inside of the bulbs to keep them shiny even when it wasn't Christmas.
Yep.
So, and they do that today. But one of the things that I thought was interesting was when he came over from Germany, or I mean, when he got out of World War I, and started the Shiny Bright Company, he didn't have a lot of money. He had a great idea, but he didn't have a lot of money. So he approached somebody he went to the service with, and that was Corning.
Like Corning where?
Like Corning Ware, Corning. So he worked with Corning Ware to produce the Shiny Brights.
Yep.
So Corning Ware did the manufacturing.
Yep.
But they were under Shiny Brights. And the Corning Ware kind of gave him a hard time about doing that because they wanted a guarantee that they would
They were
sell.
going to get the money back, yeah.
So he approached Woolworths. Okay. And do you know what Woolworths is?
I found out today.
Okay, so Woolworths was a huge
Like Sears,
department
Kmart,
store.
like
Yeah.
anything you were looking for, home goods, clothing, things like that, that's where you would go for that.
Yeah. And so he talked with Woolworths, and Woolworths agreed to order 250,000 ornaments. So Corning said, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." So they produced 250,000 ornaments, and then produced another 250,000 ornaments, and then another one, and then another one. And Shining Bright in the first year in the 30s, $25 million.
That's a lot.
In ornaments.
A lot. And now, average cost of a bulb back then was
it was probably a little bit more expensive than you think.
Oh, absolutely.
Back then. You know what? I should have done the research for that, but I don't know.
We should. I'm sure we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out and let you
talk
know.
about it next week.
Yeah. So it wasn't until the 40s and 50s that they started doing other shapes and adding colors and stuff like that. And one of the ways to know how to date your Shiny Brights, which I know all of our staff loves to do, this is also a Shiny Bright. So those of you who love Shiny Bright ornaments, look at this. This has snowmen on it, and I've shown like several of them in our photos. Like one of them had the moon and the stuff.
Yep.
The moon and stars, which was during the moon landing time and such. But these are Shiny Brights. Shiny Brights are hugely popular.
We love that.
So here I have some Shiny Bright boxes to show you. And you can date your Shiny Brights by the box or by the neck on it. And I'm going to start with this one. This is the iconic Shiny Bright, the 1940 Shiny Bright box.
The OG.
Okay? The OG. As you can see, it's the 1940s, so it introduced the bell, because if it was in the late 30s, the bell wouldn't be on it.
Right.
It would just be round balls. So this is 1940s, right? So if you find a box like this that's filled, and the rings say Made in America, not Made in the USA, Made in America, then it's pretty much guaranteed that these are the original Shiny Brights. Now, the next year, in the 1950s, they came out with this box. So this is the 1950s Shiny Bright box, okay? As you can see, they've changed the style on it. Also, they introduced the multi-layer, which I just showed you one, which was, no, this one, which was this Shiny Bright right here, and you can see it right there. So these were made in the 1950s, okay? So you can pretty much date them that way. Then you have 1960s, which are here. And as you see, the boxes actually lose their, in my mind, they lose a lot of their charm, because the closer we get to today, the more manufacturing happens. So this is a 1960s
Remakes.
box. These aren't remakes.
No, I'm saying like the more as we progress, the
Right.
more remakes. That
So these are 1960s. Now, something that happened in the 1960s, which was interesting that I read, was Shiny Bright then held the monopoly on ornaments, on mass market ornaments.
which I also learned about
Which
today.
is against the law, the monopoly law, and Kobe was formed. Kobe in the 60s was formed to give Shiny Bright a, what's the word I'm looking for? A run for
More
the
for
money.
money, yeah.
A run for the money. So you can date your Shiny Brights that way. Now, this that she's holding is interesting, because in the mid to late 80s, Shiny Bright was taking a decline, because there were so many different ornament companies and different ornaments that people used, right? So the 1940s. So Christopher Radko. Who knows the name Christopher Radko? Christopher Radko, that we know, makes stuff like this, right?
The ripples.
Yeah.
The nutcracker and different types of glass art.
This kind of glass art, Christopher Radko, right? We all know Christopher Radko like this. Well, Christopher Radko was ingenious, because he bought the rights to Shiny Bright. So as you can see, this box, which is a modern version of the 1940s box, and it says it right on it.
Oops, sorry, I was showing
Says
them all
it,
360.
vintage
angle.
American 1940s design, right? But the fun thing aspect is, look right here, Christopher Radko. A Christopher Radko for Star Red Ink, but it's Christopher Radko.
I also, while flipping around the box, and I'm not sure if older boxes still have this.
What?
Right here on the back, it says things like the petite forms and the
Yeah,
ripples.
none of that would be on there, because the barcode only started in 1970s, the late 70s, and they would have had nothing on the back.
Like that one. That's why I was like, flip
Like
that
that.
one over so I can see
The
it.
barcode is easy to scan, so they'll put everything around there. One of the other things that you'll notice about Shiny Brights, the new versus the old, is all Shiny Brights are made in America. Pre-19, like 80, 88, 87. Because this one, if you look, says made in China.
Oh, dang.
Mm-hmm. So if you want a made in America ornament, you have to go to the 1970s and back.
Back, yeah.
I do not have a box for the 70s, but so 1970s and back for
Sure.
made in America. So and if you take a look at one of the Shiny Brights, you will see on the rim is where I'm talking about. Made in the, this one says, this one is the 1960s made in the USA.
Okay.
Yeah, this
Like
one
the Oreo
says
one, too.
made in the USA. So pre-1970s or pre-1980s, so 1970s, you're talking about having made in America. If you buy a Christopher Radko repop, it's going to be made in China. Now, I am going to tell you that a Christopher Radko repop is going to be a lot cheaper
Oh, absolutely.
than an original. Because the originals are just so cool. They have life. They have life. Look at the little dots around there. Do you know how many people touch this?
Oh,
Do
I
you know
know,
how many
right?
families sat around the tree and put this on the tree?
So many times.
So
And
many
so many
times.
families.
The funny thing is something that this is this delicate, blown glass, outlived for the past, what, 70 years, 60 years.
Put it in my house for 2 seconds and the cats are having fun.
Yeah, I got a text from her the other day at her kid that she lost her tree because of her cats.
And I immediately came to work the next day and said, Jason, I am in dire need of some new bulbs. He said, what happened? I said, the cat had some fun with the tree this
I
morning.
know. So this is a repop, and you can tell by the colors.
And the type of glitter that they used, because
Yeah.
that is way finer glitter than what they had back then.
And there's nothing wrong with repops.
No, absolutely not.
Especially if you have animals. I would buy the repop.
Oh, sure, just because you don't want to.
Or not even just if you have animals. When you have a tree like this, the silver tree, which, you know, made its debut in the 50s. Oh, that's not true. Made its debut in the 40s.
Okay.
In the late 40s. A tree like this is good to put your expensive ornaments on because they do not bounce against each other.
Right. It's a very spread out
right.
tree.
Putting them on is easy.
Yes.
So you just have to be careful because those like to come out, the arms. When you're dealing with an evergreen tree or a thick tree, you might not want to use your really expensive
Balls.
German hand blown because the more it's in there, the more you're going to scratch the paint off, the more you're going to do all sorts of stuff. What else were you going to say?
Oh, so since we're speaking like agreeing a little bit closer to like the 80s and things like that, Hallmark started manufacturing ornaments that included their first 18-piece set, which did include 6 blown glass ball ornaments. Not anything with like ripples or any type of ribbonry on them. It was just the classic 6 balls. But that also, what was it called? The Keepsake
Collection started in 1973.
Uh-huh.
And it, the Keepsake collection, and I'll show you a box as well, Hallmark. How many of you collect Hallmarks? Come on, we all do, right? Especially if they have our name on them.
Right, exactly.
But this is a Hallmark. This is the penguin, part of the penguin. This is this one's a 1998. Because I don't have any that date back that far.
Sure.
But some of the Hallmark stuff, Hallmark in 1973, when they created the Keepsake, they created a phenomenon called the collectible ornament.
Yep, and everybody needed one. It was like Beanie Babies at the time, but with ornaments.
I'm going to grab a box, so keep them entertained for a second.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, I was going to save this for the best for last, but I feel like it's super appropriate to bring it up right now. This was probably my favorite fact that I found. The largest, and I mean the absolute it was like Guinness Book of World Records. The largest Christmas bulb is 4.68 meters, but 15 feet, 4 inches round in diameter. And it was achieved by the Dubai Mall, December 19th, 2018. And it weighed a whopping 2,425 pounds. It was pink and orange, and I don't know the specific name for it, but it had the pinched glass, and every piece of pinched glass was a different color. I thought it was great. Frosty Friends. Is that the name of that ornament?
You're so funny. I just got Frosty Friends. Yep.
That's
That
so
is the
cute.
name of that part of that. So it's funny that you mentioned Frosty Friends, Steve, because I actually grabbed. Where is it? Right here. This one is a 1990 Frosty Friends, and it's Little Frosty. And see, they're not expensive. They're only $4. This one, Frosty, and Frosty Friends, but this is the keepsake ornament, the original keepsake ornament box, and the Frosty Friends are some of the most collectible. Once, like this one says, it's first in the collection of 4. Now, Hallmark would have only put out so many of these,
Right.
so that's why they become collectible, and
like
that's
limited edition.
yeah, they became crazy with that. Then you have little ones like the little bear and the bear collection, and then this is today's current not Frosty Friends keepsake ornaments. This is one of the bulbs for Courier and Ives, but it's keepsake ornament. It's part of the keepsake line. So keepsake line keeps going. And I'm telling you, some of the most expensive ornaments you can get today are the original
Keepsakes.
Keepsakes, yeah.
Those are so cute.
But still, a lot of the most expensive are going to be hand-blown
Yep.
German glass,
Absolutely.
Czech glass,
Paper
stuff like
thin
that.
ones. The paper thin ones.
Now we talked about tinsel and we have some of the lead tinsel here. There was a time when it, like I said, it went from silver to lead to mylar and stuff like that. So lead, this one, I'm going to say this is probably 1950s, Steve? 50s, 40s? Anyways.
Let's point out the fact that it says fireproof.
It says because lead is fireproof.
No, right.
Yeah. But
But if you had lit candles on your tree,
Oh, I know.
you know what I'm saying?
So this is actual lead, and this is what you used to put on your tree or in your tree, like you should. But is actual lead versus the mylar, which gave it the glittering look. But if you have cats, you never put tinsel on your tree.
Right. Yes, that'd be another bet.
Never.
Bill.
There was something else here too. I was going to show. So some of the ornaments I wanted to show you were like these hand. Now this is Japan, and Japan got into ornaments 40s, 50s. Thank you, Steve. Japan got into ornaments right after Germany and America. They got into making hand-blown ornaments.
They were seeing us doing so good, and they said, "Oh, I want some."
Well,
of
what
that
they
pie
saw
too."
was the $25 million that Woolworths made on. But these are Japan hand-blown little Santa ornaments. Now, somebody sat and hand blew these little tiny ornaments, and look, the glass is almost iridescent.
Yep.
You know, that's how thin the glass is. Now, these can run about $20 a piece because of their age and the fact that they're hand blown. And then, of course, the 20% off over 25, so two of them would be 16 each. But look at the little tiny collars. Isn't that fun?
Look how beautiful.
I
this
mean,
one
can you
is.
see the little tiny? I know. Look at that. These are all hand blown glass ornaments.
Paper thin too.
Aren't they cool? So these are a little bit more expensive than your standard bulbs, but they're just so adorable. Something like this would go on like the little tree, or something like this, where they stand alone and they don't
Clash against something
clash
else.
against stuff. And then you have the elves, which were introduced in the 50s. You have the different angels were big. One of the little tidbit. So back in the day, they would put streamers, like party streamers,
Oh yeah.
on their trees, and they dropped the party streamers down, right? And they would tell the kids that the party streamers were angels' hair.
Oh,
It's right here.
bless.
And so that morphed, like everything else in the world, to angel hair. Now, angel hair is spun glass, so you want to be very careful with angel hair. It is a spun glass, so I'm going to tell you, if you have pets, do not, or little kids, do not use angel hair, because angel hair is spun glass, and what happens when somebody eats spun glass? The same thing as though he were eating glass.
That's right.
So you want to be very careful. If you're going to use angel hair, just make sure that, no kids or pets are around them.
We love this basic, nice packaging. Just they couldn't distract you from the warning: do not give to children.
Does it say that?
Well,
Caution, yeah, spun glass.
use
So-
gloves when handling.
This is an older one. They still did it. Oh, it's in Pawtucket.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Pawtucket. But that's how spun glass, that's how
Angel
angel
hair?
hair started.
That's so
They would
crazy.
put the crepe stuff on it.
Long fiberglass, exactly.
Spun glass, it says right on the back. And
You said something very important earlier that had something to do with this asbestos.
well, some spun glass or some angel hair can have asbestos in it.
Which is-
some ornaments can have asbestos in it. It was common for them to use asbestos in different
Which is
things
just
back
as
then.
bad as long fiberglass.
Actually, it's worse
Oh, okay. Well, we're bumping that up to one
because
more
you don't
step
have to eat that in order
asbestos
to
for
get
a tub.
sick.
Yeah, sure.
So just like everything else, the houses you lived in and stuff like that, asbestos was used. It was a godsend back then, and then it became.
It became your worst nightmare.
Yes. So it's funny because another tidbit I had to tell you about is 1600 when the government was back then. We didn't have Supreme Court. We had the government of Massachusetts, which oversaw everything that was going on.
Yep.
It's called something else. I just lost it. It is. I don't even know where my paper went. Anyways,
Oh, here it is.
so it was so when they were doing all the Christmas stuff over in Europe, right? They were trying to get it here, and because this country was founded on the freedom of and the freedom from religion.
Oh yes.
Okay, the courts of Massachusetts, which was what it was called, made anything that dealt with religious celebration illegal,
Yep.
other than going to church.
Which included like Easter and things like that.
Yes, and it wasn't until the German and the German immigrants came over,
Where they were like, okay, well maybe.
they started to relax the law, and then Christmas was able to be celebrated.
Right. But they didn't want anybody to feel like, okay, well let me just shove my religion in your face.
I gotta
now
tell
have
you
to celebrate
something.
it.
Doing this with Christmas, really, you learn a lot because nobody knows when Jesus was born.
Right.
It was somewhere between September and March, depending on who you speak to and what is going on. So they decided to, I guess, powers to be, decided to leave it in December because it's directly in
Smack dab in the middle.
between. It's part of the winter solstice and when the days start to get longer again.
Yep.
And so instead of going back and forth, because there's no clear date on Jesus' birth, the day of,
Right.
that they left it between those time periods.
Because it was
And
just
then brought the
easier
tree
than to
over.
fight.
And the reason we give gifts is because the three kings gave.
Oh, that was new. We didn't talk about that.
No,
earlier.
but that's something I read. The reason we give gifts at Christmas is because frankincense, myrrh, and I forgot the third one.
I'm
Rose
sorry, I
oil.
should know.
Anyways, were given to Jesus, to Mary and Joseph, as gifts for the birth of their baby.
Oh wow, how
So
cool. I
that's
never
why
knew that.
gifts were originally given, but technically, almost everything that's wrapped up into Christmas is more pagan than it is Christian.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's funny because they started to put fruit and from Druidism to Christianity, they started the fruit and vegetable on the tree. They did apples because of the tree of life.
Right.
And the tree of knowledge. So, you know how Eve bit the apple, ate the apple, or was it Adam?
Okay, that's a whole nother
Oh my
topic.
God, that's awful. Anyways, how one of them bit the apple, the tree is supposed to signify that tree.
Okay, gotcha.
By putting the nuts and fruits and apples on it.
Sure.
And then it morphed out. But it's just hilarious. Christmas is everything. It's an amalgamation of everything.
So many things, and it changes all the time. You can
Yes.
ask 15 different people, they're all going to have different.
But it's beautiful.
I love this tree. It's my favorite one.
It's beautiful. It makes me happy to look at ornaments. It makes me happy to look at Christmas stuff. That's why we do it so much. And sometimes it's more exciting to give the gift than to
Always,
give it.
that's my favorite. I could care less about getting a gift. It's like I'm the worst person ever. It's like if I bought you a gift, just wait until it gets a little bit closer. I'm gonna be like, you want what I got you for Christmas? You're gonna say no, it's not even Christmas. I'm just so excited to give it.
So, anyways, we learned a lot about Christmas. Hopefully, we passed on some knowledge to
Yeah,
you guys.
hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
We do have a huge variety of ornaments left. This is just one tree of the 15 that are up,
And there's baskets all over the place
All over
with
the-
bulbs.
filled with bulbs.
So if you guys do come in and you guys are gonna go bulb shopping, just ask us for a basket. We can get you covered.
And remember, the tree that you put up in your house is a history of your life. The tree that Steve and I put up is got all of our pets' names,
And that's so
ornaments.
cute.
It's got ours.
Places
It's
you've
got
traveled.
everything you can think of. And tonight, I'm glad you mentioned that, Steve. So those of you who follow us on Facebook saw the video that I put out about the Hudson's Parade in the 1940s,
Yep.
right? We put out a video that we had converted over from 16 millimeter to digitized. And I shared it on Facebook, and it was about a 3-minute spot for Hudson's Christmas Parade 1940, which is quite phenomenal because they pulled the floats. And tonight on PBS here in Michigan, those of you here in Michigan, and you can probably stream it or find it online, is a Detroit Christmas at Hudson's.
Sponsor.
Christmas at Hudson's. It's on tonight on PBS, and watch it because there's a lot of local people involved in that. There's a lot of good memory photos, and
they provided them with one of the greatest
Yes.
clips that they're going to show.
and hopefully you'll be able to spend some time and watch it, see the clip of the parade.
And like Steve said, it's going to be in color.
Yes, it will be in color.
Which
They
is
are
gonna be the
colorized
best
it.
part.
And I'm going to tell you, the clip that we sent, we did not colorize. It was color. And for a person in 1940 to have a colored camera,
They were the top of the line bougie person.
they were rich. Mhm. So, check it out tonight, because hopefully you'll see, you know, the parade and then the dedication to us.
And it's gonna bring, it's gonna bring
That'd be
back
cool.
some good memories for
Oh,
people,
for a lot
sure.
of people, because a lot of our customers actually worked at
And
it.
experienced that firsthand.
I've never been able to go downtown. Oh, and Christmas Carol. Let me tell you a little thing, and then we'll stop because I know we're going.
Oh
over
yeah,
it.
no problem.
But Christmas Carol is a little girl. Did you know
Did
that?
she start singing, and then
Nope.
that's how it became?
She has nothing
a
to do
thing?
with singing.
Oh, okay.
So, Christmas Carol is the little girl who takes Santa from the sleigh and takes him to his seat in Hudson's.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So Hudson's did their first. Hudson's was a rival to Macy's Windows and stuff
Sure.
like that. They were the same time frame. They had the big, Macy's was big in New York.
Yeah.
Hudson's was big here. So back then, Hudson's was off Woodward, and they would take the parade down, and everything would stop right in front of Hudson's. They would have crowds of people outside. Little girl dressed in a cute little
Christmas
outfit would take Santa and walk Santa to his chair, his
That's
throne.
so cute.
And that was Christmas Carol.
That is so cute. I wonder how they even collaborated the two
Isn't
together.
that hilarious? I think that they did that in a lot of them, and so that was the standard Christmas Carol name.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't think the little girl's name was Carol, but it could have been.
That would be
I don't
even
know.
better, to be honest.
So watch it tonight. It's pretty cool.
On
And-
PBS.
Yes, on PBS. And those of you who are in other states, Las Vegas, California, all over the place, check it out. YouTube. It'll be on YouTube or
Sure.
something tomorrow.
And I'm sure we're probably going to share it. We're probably going to find it on the video on social media.
Oh,
We
I
got-
probably can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then repost it for you guys.
So I hope you learned some stuff about the ornaments.
'Cause I know
sure
I
did.
did.
I did too. It's crazy. And come on in, take a look at what we have. More new Christmas is going out. New to the store. Christmas is going out.
Old us, new to you.
Yep. And just come in and have fun.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
We still got that sale going on. We have, as things are moving, as it's getting closer
We're
to Christmas,
replacing it.
We're replacing it as it's going out. And
Yeah.
also, again, we tell you guys every time you're in the store, follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all that other good stuff, so you can keep
Julie,
up with
thank
everything
you.
that we
Oh,
have.
my hat's on sideways.
Because we post new things every day.
So I started it with this hat on. I'm going to end it with this hat
Ended on a great note.
And the older I get, I'm going to tell you, I sweat and get hot a lot. So I can't wear the hats all throughout the whole thing. Because I'm fat.
Oh.
Anyways. So thank you so much for following us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the hearts, David. I know that's you. Steve doesn't know how to use the hearts.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
He's so silly.
So, hopefully it's everybody. But follow us here. Jump over to YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Time Warp Vintage.
Like, comment, subscribe, share.
I know I haven't done much on TikTok lately, but I keep
Oh, we have
forgetting
so
it's
much
there.
going on.
I keep forgetting it's there. And check us out on Instagram. And thank you so much. We will be doing a show next week. It's going to be on Christmas vinyl.
Ooh.
And we're going to have Jason with us as well.
That's gonna be fun.
Are you coming?
Yes.
Awesome. So it'll be me, Jason, and Jasmine, and we're going to be talking about Christmas vinyl, which will be fun. So you'll have to watch us. Oh, I'm so glad, Sharon, that you liked the purchases from us. We enjoyed having you in the store, and trust me, I love it when people come in and then they watch us.
Yes.
And they mention that they saw us. I love that. So.
Woohoo.
Anyways, thank you, and you guys have a good night. We're going to go home.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.